Okay, here we are again. It is Saturday and I'm here in my classroom. I just wanted to show you this is what we believe in. Follow your own heart. And this is my ramp. I have several different groups of students that we start at my ramp. Lovely little ramp. I ask them to go over the classroom rules and have them follow some very simple instructions. I know first thing in the morning, some of my students, their medication hasn't set in yet. So even the fact that if I say you need to stand along the left-hand pole, along the bar here, if they're able to follow that instruction along with possibly put your hand on your head, do 5 squats, things like that, I can kind of get a baseline of where they're at in their knowledge. I'll go over today my classroom arrangement, the rules and procedures in my class, and a little bit about my reward system. I have in the past had behavioral contracts with students, and I will be implementing 2 of those here shortly with a couple of students that have been struggling in the last couple weeks. One thing that our whole entire campus uses is these 5 rules, which are from Whole Brain Teaching. So if you can see that, when students come into the class, I have them sit down at my table, generally speaking. They get to choose a spot. Once their bottom is in their seat, they are understood. We go over the rules. We all say them. Rule 1, follow directions quickly. Rule 2, raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule 3, raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. Rule 4, make smart choices. And Rule 5, make your dear teacher happy. So, with that being said, we practice those daily. And I also, during the rotations, depending on which group I have, I positively reinforce those just positive student behavior. Things like thank you for having your feet on the floor, knees under the table, hands on the table, using quiet voices, raising your hand. With my 5th grade group, they struggle. They're first thing in the morning, and 3 of them are struggle with primarily ADHD, along with some oppositional defiance and some other little nice little behavioral issues. And so a lot of times I might have a student hanging out on the carpet by the front door or on the ramp, because that's pretty much all they can handle at that point. They don't really have the ability at that time in the morning to really participate, but them being in my classroom, at least they get to hear what is being read, and the rest of the students get to practice not paying attention to their bad behavior and showing me the positive behavior that they can. This last week with that group, I implemented a new strategy with them. We were going to work on Rule 3, raise your hand for permission to speak. First thing in the morning, I set my timer right here for 45 seconds, and each student, there's 5 of them, gets to share 45 seconds of anything they want, with the understood that there's respect in the classroom, of that we don't interrupt, we don't blurt out. This is something that needs to be practiced, and at their age, it is still in developmental level, it's still an incredible struggle. I am trying to prepare them for middle school, and I talk to them about that. So once their time is to be shared, that is the free time that they have to discuss whatever they want. And then after that, they get a very simple index card, but they get a star for every time they raise their hand for permission to speak, and they get a slash over here when they blurt out. So the idea of this is they cancel out. This guy, he raises his hand but all the time, and he also is very engaged in the curriculum and contributes a lot, you can see. this guy spends a lot of time on the floor. But I'm hoping with a behavior contract this will improve. And this little guy, he's awesome, but he kind of tends to check out and blurt out and forget the rules, but not very bad. This was only day one. I finally on Friday was like, okay, you guys, we have to do something different. It's not working, because I was struggling a lot with just them forgetting that they couldn't blurt out in class. So this is almost like a visual cue. I point down to their card. They remember that it's rule 3, raise your hand for permission to speak. They do get a chance if they blurt out. I point to their card, and that's their reminder. And then after that, the next time they blurt out, they get a slash. So my younger groups, I do offer sometimes choices of punch cards. We sometimes go shopping on Teachers Pay Teachers to choose what they want. However, what I found with that is students change all the time, and their interests change, and if you don't have a new dog and pony show, they don't always, they're not as interested every time. So with my younger kids, this is my 3rd grade math group, they have punch cards. The beginning of the year, they used my sticker books, I have like lots of them, sticker books to design the back of their, the back. They have completely lost interest in that. However, what they still are entertained with is, as I give them tallies on the table, yes, I write on the table, they might get a tally. Well, my tables hasn't been cleaned, but anyways, they might get a tally. So for every 5 tallies, they get an extra punch. They generally earn 3 punches, and whoever has the most tallies on the table and has been following the directions and participating, raising their hand, not blurting out, and staying focused, they get to choose out of the punches, and they are my puncher for the day. So that is a huge, they love that. So with that, I also, if they fill up their punch card, they get into my prize boxes. I have different levels of prize boxes. I have super amazing ones that everybody wants in. I have other ones that are like, yay. It's a little finger puppet or a pencil or an eraser. These boys have to reach 25 stars before they get into my prize box. I also give them the option that I can bring them dessert one day, you know, a popsicle or an ice cream. So those are my reward systems. I do that with all 34 students that are on the campus that I share with another teacher. And, you know, we set goals for all of them, so there is some reinforcement. I just lost my train of thought. I also, within my room, when you walk in, I have students that just pop in sometimes and need extra support, but you walk in and this is my main table, but I also have a circle table over here where students can either go sit and do iReady or take an AR quiz. I like to use that just for certain students, because then I have the visual, I keep my eye on them and I know they're on task while I'm still teaching my group over here. Then I have a library section, and some of my kids are capable of going and sitting quietly and reading their books, but generally speaking, that's pretty rough because their inability to attend when anything else is going on in the room. I am looking forward, hoping my district buys me those fake walls. That would be cool, because I do have a partition, which is pretty handy here. And on the other side, I do have a separate table where students can come in with a para and work on different tasks. On Friday, we have 2 little first grade girls now that are brand new to our school because of the Paradise Fire, and both of them probably could benefit in more of an SDC situation, classroom type of style. However, our special day class has a lot of older boys in it, and it's crazy in there. And I wouldn't want to subject a little 6-year-old girl, quiet, well-behaved girls, to their interesting behavior. So I've tried my best to keep them in the general ed education classrooms with push-in support. First grade's not really happy with me right now, but I don't care. I also have Legos for kids that need some time out, and some sensory in the rear of my classroom. These are really fun to pour out and build with. Sometimes these are filled with sand, sometimes with beans, sometimes with those fun little water pellets that go everywhere. We also have kinetic sand, which is a big winner. And I have students that like soft things and that you can pull, twist, and tug, along with another place where students can stretch out and do iReady, Prodigy, anything on their computer where they can use headphones. I hope that helps. I will be attaching this to YouTube and hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.